Hello, and welcome to BeagleBit Games unboxing video of the new Pokemon TCG expansion, Steam Siege. My name is Simon, I'll be doing the unboxing today. So all you're going to do is open up this box, beautiful booster box full of 36 packs of boosters. I'm going to open the packs and have a look at what's inside. And I'm not going to go through every single card in the box, don't worry, that would be a little bit insane. What we're going to do is just go through and just highlight some cool and interesting cards as they appear from the boosters. So let's dive right in and see what we get. So first up, so you have an Aipom in here, a Mankey, Shellos, Kragunk. Oh yes, by the way, for those of you who aren't aware, I'm terrible at pronouncing names. Dangler. Oh nice, we have a reverse holo Hooper. So this is cool. So he's a bit of a key feature of the set and stuff at the moment. So this is a Hooper. He's Psychic type, 130 HP, Hyperspace Punch is a single energy attack, and it does 20 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So you can hit stuff on the bench with this, which is, it's always useful to be able to dish damage around like that. And Portal Strike takes 3 energy, does 130 damage, but you can't use Portal Strike next turn. So quite a nice powerful attack for a non-EX Pokemon. And we have Klinklang. So Stage 2 Evolution, Steel type, 140 HP. His ability is Heavy Bumper. Any damage done to this Pokemon by an opponent's attack is reduced by 10 for each normal in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. So she's an interesting little reduction. So if they have 3 on the retreat cost, that could be a minus 30. It's nothing to snivel at. And Gear Spinner is 2 steel and a normal colourless, if you will, for 70 damage. And during your next turn, this Pokemon's Gear Spinner attack does 70 more damage. So 140 if you do it next turn and keep doing it. And that is enough to KO most big Pokemon. So yeah, nice. Captivating Pokepuff. So this is a new trainer item. Your opponent reveals their hand and you get to put any number of basic Pokemon you find that onto your opponent's bench. First glance doesn't seem amazing, but it is a useful card. What you can do is you fill up your opponent's bench with useless Pokemon that they don't need, and this stops things like Shaymin EX and Hooper EX being used and abused. So it's quite an interesting techie card. Skiploom. And Hawlucha. Hawlucha is cool, so he's a normal type, 80 HP. He has the ability Sudden Cyclone. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may have your opponent switch their active Pokemon with one of their benched Pokemon. So he's got a built-in Lysandra effect when you play him. And Acrobatics, so double colourless for 20 plus damage, flip 2 coins and it does 20 more damage for each head. So not great on the attack, you're going to be playing him just for the Sudden Cyclone ability really. So still very, very neat Pokemon. Cool little ability. It's nice being able to mess with your opponent. Only downside to him is that artwork, unfortunately. So here we have Oshawott, and you can see a sneaky EX there in the pack. Pawniard, Tangler, I'm basically doing the Pokérap. Joltik, which is good, because his evolution's in the set. Larvesta, we have Reverse Holo Clauncher. He'll be useful later when we have a look at his evolution. And we have and now I'm going to get this wrong, Magearna EX. Feel free to correct me in the comments. 160 HP Steel type. Has the ability Mystic Heart. Prevent all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to each of your Pokemon that has a Steel energy attached to it. And then it also has Soul Blaster, so Steel and double colourless for 120. During your next turn, this Pokemon Soul Blaster's attacks base damage is 60, so it just halves it next turn, so you can't keep chaining that 120, unfortunately. But yeah, the Mystic Heart was really cool. You can just have this on your bench, basically. And it just helps shield your steel types. You can make it so it really helps you build like a tanky deck with them. Especially if you get like the new Steelix from the set, who's got such high HP and stuff. I think it's a really nice cut. We have Klang, Special Charge. So new trainer card. Shuffle 2 special energy cards from your discard into your deck. Very useful, especially if some of your sort of souped up Pokemon have been KO'd and you've had to drop their special energy off of them. You can get that wonderful double colourless back, etc. And we have a Monferno. So, on to the next pack. So, Concha, a Meowth, Hoppip, again, weird artwork. One thing about other card games, at least like all their artwork is consistent. Pokemon has some interesting different artwork, but I would prefer if it was all sort of, you know, it all hit the same rhythms, you know. So here we have Chandelure, nice holo version, 130 HP Psychic type. The ability is Sinister Selection. Once during your turn before the attack, you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand. Discard the other card. This is a nice little card advantage. The downside being he is a stage 2 and he has Past Friends, so Psychic and Colourless for 10 plus damage, and it does 10 more damage for each supporter card in your discard pile. So you can set him up and, you know, you can get a nice healthy attack out of him, but it's nothing amazing, especially for a stage 2. If there's more support for, you know, the evolutions like Pokemon Breeder and stuff, then he would be fantastic, but as it stands, he's just kind of cool. And Aerith, so this is one of the restored, the fossil Pokemon. So it has it's 80 HP fighting type, restored barrier ability. Each of your restored Pokemon has no weakness. His weakness is 2 times grass. And his attack is single colourless for X is a 20 plus damage, flip a coin, if heads do 20 more. Not amazing when you have to restore him, unfortunately. Another Hawlucha, and Duot. The otter Pokemon. So, another Concha, Fletchling, Hoppip, Sneasel, Mantine. Mantine's an interesting one. So 100 HP water. It has, for a single water, Healing Wave. Discard as many cards as you like from your hand to heal 10 damage from this Pokemon for each card you discarded in this way. And then Dwindling Wave for 3 water is 90 minus. It does 90 damage minus 10 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So Healing Wave sets up for you Dwindling Wave turn after turn. But the Healing Wave is interesting because it allows you to selectively discard cards from your hand, and there's not really anything in the game that does that except this. So yeah, it's quite an interesting bit. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of any particular interaction. Oh, Archie. You could use this with the Archie card. That if it's the last card in your hand, go and get the water type. So yeah, so there's interactions like that. So which is quite cool. Xerneas. It's 130 HP Fairy type. It has Geomancy and Rainbow Spear. So this is, I believe, a reprint from one of the other ones. So, and it's a reverse holo as well. Yanmega. So it's a stage 1 evolution, 110 HP Grass type. The ability is Sonic Vision. If you have exactly 4 cards in your hand, ignore all energy in the attack cost of each of this Pokemon's attacks. It's a very precise criteria, but worth it because Assault Boom is 3 energy, 50 plus damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon has a Pokemon tool attached, it does 70 more damage, so 120. So if your opponent's put, you know, a Muscle Band or Fighting Fury Bout or something on their Pokemon, you can do a nice whopping amount of damage. Special Charge, Clang, and the Claw Fossil, of course, needed to restore that Pokemon. So the next pack, Fletchling, Oshawott, Sneasel, Seedot, Drifloon. I really am doing the Pokérap, aren't I? Reverse Holo Talonflame, nice. Then this guy, I am in love with this card. It's fantastic. So it's a stage 2, 130 HP normal type. Its ability, Gale Wings. If this Pokemon is in your hand when you're setting up to play, you may put it face down as your active Pokemon. It's just that, and then you add on the Aero Blitz, so single colourless for 40 damage. Search your deck for 2 cards and put them into your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. This is an amazing starter, great setup. It allows you to pull into cards that you need for any combos you've got going. I absolutely love him, though the downside is he is a stage 2. So it's great if you can get the Gale Wings and get him onto play, but outside of that, if you don't get him in your opening hand, it's a dead card in the deck. So he's got quite a downside to him, but I absolutely love Talonflame. Armaldo, Braviary, Lampent, and Clang. But yeah, I think online a lot of people are divided about whether or not Talonflame's really good. I think a one-of in a deck, you know, is fine, but yeah. Mantine, Clink. Oh, we can see a break down there. Mankey, Fungus. Yeah, he's got a cute ability. He's got Play Ball. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may put 3 Pokeball cards from your discard pile into your hand, which is useful. Get back some Ultra Balls and stuff like that. It's not an amazing ability, but it could be part of quite a fun deck, which, you know, utilises Pokeballs a lot. Hydreigon, the break. So this is the first break we've seen. So the set has EXs and breaks in it, and this is the first break we've opened. 190 HP upgrade, so it's a dragon type. And it has Psychic, Dark, Colourless for Calamity Blast, which does 150 damage. And discard 3 energy cards attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 50 damage to 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So that's dishing out 250 damage. That's a really nice blast. Downside, obviously, is the discarding. But there's plenty of ways to set up extra energy on Pokemon now. So, potential, nice bit of potential on him. A Talonflame again, Armor Fossil, Braviary, Spirit Link. Of course, if there's a Mega in the set, you need a Spirit Link. Sorry, one sec. A bit of a cough there, sorry. So, Tangler, Dino, Chimchar, Rufflet, Shellos, a Reverse Holo Dino, a Hooper, who we've seen, Gardevoir, because of course Gardevoir's back in the set. Nuzleaf and a Claw Fossil. Seems like with the abundance of generations at the moment, you can't go far without seeing a Gardevoir these days. Dino, Litwick, Nosepass, Chimchar, Nidoran, Kragunk in Reverse Holo. Got another Xerneas there, if I can remember to split these cards up properly. Zweilous and Nidorino. Hopefully we're going to see Nidoking, which I'll let you into a secret. It's one of my favourite Pokemon. Always had a soft spot for Nidoking. Shame the one in this set isn't very good, unfortunately. Not in my eyes, anyway. But it's not an EX, so how could it be? Oh, we have Volcarona. So, Volcarona is 110 HP Stage 1 Pokemon. It's a dual type, so they brought these dual types back in. So it's Grass and Fire. So what this means is that you can use the special energies associated for the different types on it. Obviously, weaknesses and resistances and stuff obviously apply as well. Pardon me, to these. But yeah, no, I find these really interesting, the dual types, just because of the way you can use the special energies. Its attacks, though. Shimmering Scales for a single grass is 20 damage. Flip a coin if heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is confused. If tails, they're paralysed. So no downside, really. And Power Hurricane for 3 colourless is 120, however, discard all energy attached to this Pokemon, so a bit of a downside for doing the full 120 whack. But yeah, it's still interesting. Drillagun, Skiploom, Greedy Dice, Greedy Dice. So this is one of the new item cards. This is... Unfortunately, this card doesn't work. You can play this card only if you took it as a face-down prize card before you put it into your hand to flip a coin, and if it's heads, you get to take another prize card. Now, that's for the gambling addicts of you, but unfortunately, the problem with this card is just if you use the maths. The chance of it being in your prize cards to start with is quite low, unless you're running a 4 of. And if you're running a 4 of, it's a dead card in your hand because it doesn't do anything. The other thing as well, if it's your 6th prize, it's completely wasted as well. So until they bring something in, like Town Map doesn't work because it makes it face up and it has to be face down. But until they bring in something, maybe in the next step, that manipulates your prize cards, unfortunately Greedy Dice is going to be one of those cards that you go, oh, I want to play this, but there's no point. So, Mareep, Mantine, Meowth, Larvesta, a Reverse Holo Mantine, Samurott. That's some cool stuff. So, Samurott, spend some time on our favourite Starter Evolution. You mean he's not your favourite? So, 140 HP Water type. Ultimate Blade is Water and Normal for 40 damage, and if the damage from this attack reduces your opponent's active Pokemon HP to 60 or less, they're knocked out. So, good finishing move. And double water and colourless for Pike, 90 damage, and do 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So a nice bit of piercing damage there, effectively. Samurats quite nice. However, it's the same old catch of it's a stage 2. You can use rare candies and stuff, but I like him. It'd be good in a fun casual deck. Fungus, Reflect, Leo, Mariel, Ponyta, Hoppip. Galvantula. Another dual type, so he's 90 HP, electric and grass. He has double thread for a single colourless. It does 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, applying weaknesses and resistances for the benched, which is very unusual. And Electro Web for a single electric is 30 damage, and the defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. So it's an evolution of Joltik. I can see this seeing play in Night March decks. Maybe as a 1 or 2 off, just to evolve the Joltik if you can't get your Night March going. The double thread is very useful for just finishing off those Pokemon that have retreated out and are just a tiny bit close to being KO'd. So yeah, I can see that being run, and you know, it's quite interesting, the abilities, the attack, and they're such low energy costs as well, you know, and it really improves his health as well. Captivating Pokepuff, Flaffy, and the Steelix Spirit Link. At some point I'm going to remember to actually put all my rares in one pile. So we've only seen 1 EX and 1 break so far, which is a bit unusual. You would have thought we would have seen another one by now, but we can hope, can't we? Oh, reverse holo go actually. Toxicroak, he's cool. So stage 1. 90 HP fighting type, ability Poison Enzyme. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's poisoned Pokemon. And funny enough, he has Poison Jab, which is a fighting and normal for 50 damage, and flip a coin, and on heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. So yeah, so he sets up for his own Poison Enzyme. How useful. So it's quite cool. Quite a neat Pokemon. Duot, Spirit Link, and Klefki. Now, I think I skipped through Klefki earlier, so let's point this guy out, because he's got a very interesting ability for Pokemon, TCG. 70 HP Fairy type, and he has the ability Wonder Lock. So, one string a turn, before you attack. If this Pokemon is on your bench, you can discard all cards attached to it, and attach it to one of your Pokemon as a tool. Prevent any damage done to the Pokemon this card is attached to by attacks from your opponent's Mega Evolution Pokemon. And then if it's still attached to a Pokemon at the end of your opponent's turn, discard it. So yeah, this is an anti-Mega Evolution Pokemon. It's really interesting. It turns into a tool and attaches. It also has Fairy Wind for Fairy and a colourless for 30 damage, but you're playing it for the lock, aren't you? So yeah, I think he's going to have a place somewhere in decks. It's a bit of a techie choice if you know your opponent's plays lots of Mega Evolutions or stuff like that, then it's a really good choice to help defend your Pokemon. So I like it. It's different, you know. Clink, Mareep, Bergmite, Fungus, Joltik, and I'm excited. We have a break. Yveltal break. So 150 HP Dark type. He has Baleful Knight for 3 dark. It does 120 damage, and this attack does 30 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon that has any damage counters already on it. So again, another good finishing move. The 120 is nothing to be sniffed at. Yeah, it's just a good all-round sweeping move. I quite like it. It's not too high on the cost. There's no discarding, so yeah, it's actually quite a nice break. Ah, Nidoking, I wanted you to be so good. So, 150 HP Psychic type. Ability is King's Palace. So your Nidoqueen's attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. And Power Lariat. So, double Psychic and colourless for 60 plus. It does 30 more damage for each evolution Pokemon on your bench. So it's not too difficult to get, you know, into a powerful Power Lariat, especially if you are running a Nidoking-Nidoqueen combo. And there is the Barrage Nidoqueen, so the extra 20 damage effectively becomes 40. So, you know, it does work. I was just hoping we'd get a Nidoking EX, I'll be honest. So, Clang, Braviary, and another Fossil. It's always when your favourite Pokemon comes up, and they're not like the most greatest meta-defining powerful card ever, and he's disappointed. It's one of those. So yeah. Oh, then again, I can't be unhappy. There's a reverse holo version. I have Ampharos. Ampharos is kind of cool. 140 HP, electric type. Ability is Shocking Light. Once during your turn, you may put 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's EX. So, yeah, this is an anti-EX card all over. And Gigavolt is double electric and colourless for 80 plus damage. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 40 more damage, and if tails, they're paralysed. So no real downside. Obviously, you'd probably prefer the 40 damage, but the paralysed is still a useful ability. And yeah, you get to before you've attacked, so you get to do 30 damage just for Ampharos being on the stage. Downside, as always, stage 2 though. Gardevoir, Lampent, and Klefki. Like I said, until they reprint something like Pokemon Breeder or just something that makes getting to stage 2 that little, that turn faster, stage 2 is always going to have to be questioned quite heavily. So, Chimchar, Meowth in reverse holo. Infernape, Monferno, Anorith, and Nidorino. Infernape is not amazing. 130 HP, fire type, of course. Flare Blitz is double fire, 120 damage, but discard all fire energy attached to him. Flare Up is double fire for 200 damage, but if you have fewer than 10 fire energy cards in your discard pile, it does nothing. And then you have to shuffle all 10 energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. So it's really resource intensive in terms of the amount of energy, and you're going to have to be cycling through them very fast to be able to utilise a lot of Infernape's abilities. So yeah, not a terrible card. You can really hit hard, but you're going to have to set it up so you can get that energy back, or at least discard it as well. So, we have a reverse holo Clink, Cobalion, however you're going to pronounce it, my apologies. 120 HP steel type. He has for a single steel Quick Guard. Prevent all damage to this Pokemon by attacks from basic Pokemon during opponent's next turn, but you can't use Quick Guard again next turn. And Revenge Blast is double steel for 30 plus damage, and it does 30 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. So good late game, have him set up, ready to do that Quick Guard, and then hit him with a Revenge Blast, potentially doing, extra few hundred damage. He's got some good potential. Ninja Boy, cool new supporter card. So, choose one of your basic Pokemon in play, then search your deck for a basic Pokemon and switch it with that Pokemon. Any attached cards, damaged, conditions, turns in play, and all other effects remain on the new Pokemon. Then shuffle the first Pokemon into your deck. So normally you'd think this kind of card would reset the Pokemon, but instead everything transfers over to it. It's like a ninja. So it's got some really cool, there could be some very cool combos, I imagine, with this, of being able to switch Pokemon, especially ones that like having damage counters on them and stuff like that. Or you can shuffle in, say, like you've just played out a Shaymin or a Hooper, you can, shuffle it back in and get something out that can actually punch really hard. So, yeah, Ninja Boy's a good supporter. Zweilous and a Greedy Dice. So, see if we can't get some more EXs, eh? So, Apom, Drifloon, Pawniard, Seedot, Reverse Holo Zweilous, Bastiodon, Zweilous, Monferno, and Ninja Boy. Finally, that's 2 Ninja Boys in a row. So, Meowth, Litwick, Hoppip, Dino, Litleo, Reverse Holo Gardevoir, Spirit Link. Oh, Shiftry! So another one of the dual types. It's a stage 2, 140 HP, Grass and Dark. Wicked Wind for single grass is 40 damage, and until the end of your opponent's next turn, each stadium or Pokemon tool in play has no effect, including cards that come into play this turn. An extra sensory, double colourless for 60 plus. If you have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent, this attack does 60 more damage. That's very doable with like N, who recently got reprinted. Sorry. And the Wicked Wind's quite a cool, has quite a cool effect on it. Just stopping your opponent using their tools and stadiums, kind of like Toxicroak EX in a way. So, yeah. I like Shiftry. Klefki, Fossil, and a Fluffy. Who doesn't love Fluffy? It's adorable. So, Seedot, Drifloon, Apom, Mankey, Chelos, Nidoran. Oh, we have a Pyroar. So he gets a break in this set as well, so hopefully we'll get to see that at some point. Be quite nice. We're like halfway through and haven't really had too many shiny cards. We've had a few reverse hollows, but we want some EXs and breaks from here. Come on, we want something exciting. Captivating Pokepuff, Probopass, Pokemon Ranger. Now this card is going to cause some confusions. So it's a new supporter, and it has remove all effects of attacks on each player and his or her Pokemon. So using a card I just referenced, Toxicroak, for example, has the you can't use tools. So if you then played Pokemon Ranger in your turn, it will remove the effect. And same with the one we just mentioned a second ago, which I've completely forgotten already. So the Shiftry with the Wicked Wind. Again, it would remove the effect of the Wicked Wind. So it's got a lot of uses. It's a bit of a techie choice. Could really get you out of a pinch or a bind though. If you're unsure on how exactly it works, I suggest Googling it. It is one of those, like, as soon as you grok it, you'll be fine. It makes perfect sense, but the first few times you read it, I can appreciate some players are going to get confused by it, but I promise you, it does make sense. Primate, Tangrowth, Drifblim. I haven't even had a full art. Not that I'm, greedy with these boxes or anything like that. Tangela, Joltik, Larvesta, Reflect, Ponyta, Persian, Amoonguss, Driftman, Gava, Juwant. Yeah, now we're really starting to suffer with some of these packs now. And there's some nice Pokemon, but like I said, I don't want to sit and go through every single one in the box because I will bore you half to death. Avalugg. Bishop, another dual type. He's cool. 100 HP, obviously he's stage 1. Darkness and Steel, and he has Colourless, Retaliate, 30 plus. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack during your last turn, this attack does 60 more damage. So 90 damage attack potentially. And Maclaw, Dark and Colourless for 60 damage, and it's this attack's damage isn't affected by resistance, which is not too big an issue. Maclaw's nice. I'd like to see a bit more damage on it for a stage 1, but I can't. You're not going to complain too much. Ninja Boy, Azumarill, another dual type, this time Fairy and Water. So he's got 100 HP, it's a stage 1. And you've got double colours for Play Rough, 30 plus damage. Flip a coin, and if heads, this attack does 30 more damage. And Bubble Drain, double Fairy, and the colourless for 80 damage. And heal 30 damage from this Pokemon. Don't deal 30 damage to it. And you get to heal it a little bit, which is very Fairy-esque. So, another quite cutesy one. So yeah, Tangela, Koragan, Marip, Drifloon in reverse, Volcarano, Fluffy, Fletchinder, and Pokemon Ranger. Am I going to have all the ridiculously good value stuff at the bottom? Here's to hoping. So Chinchar, Clauncher, Fletchling, Joltik in reverse. Chloritzer, he's cool. So stage 1 evolution, 100 HP, water type, and he has the ability Mega Boost. Once during your turn before you attack, you may attach a special energy card from your hand to one of your Mega Evolution Pokemon. Really good at setting up your Mega Evolutions, especially the fire types who have to discard so much energy. And it allows you to get special energy onto your Pokemon so easily. Crabhammer's not really worth putting the energy on it for, which is water and double colourless for 60 damage. You're effectively going to evolve this and leave it on the bench just to abuse that Mega Boost ability. Persian, Fluffy, and Drifblim. Let's split the commons pile a little bit. It's getting a bit big. Oh, I was really hoping to see Steelix. Oh, there's something good here. Marie. Is this a Mantine? It says reverse hollow Hydreigon. Ooh, nice. Full art Volcanion EX. Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Box, for making up for everything that was not there. So, 180 HP dual type, fire and water. The ability is Steam Up. Once during your turn before you attack, you can discard a Fire Energy card from your hand. During this turn, your basic Fire Energy Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. And Volcanic Heat is double fire and colorless for 130 damage, and it can't attack during your next turn as a result. So, thankfully it's got the 180 HP, so it should be able to survive a turn without, being able to retaliate. Yeah, it's not, he's not an amazing groundbreaking EX, but he's definitely cool, and he can definitely deal out some damage if need to. So yeah, I'm happy with that. It's a nice full art. And then Skiploom. Skiploom. Almost lost the ability to open boosters now. So Meryl, Ponyta, Dino, Litwick, Yanma, Spiritomb, Fetching Digiwap, and Azumarill. So come on, we've had a full art. I'm not going to be greedy, but another EX would be nice. Fetching Volcanion. So here's his normal version. 130 HP, fire type, power heater. So for a single fire it does 20 damage. Choose 2 of your benched Pokemon and attach a fire energy card from a discard pile to each of those Pokemon. That would be useful with the ZX version to get those fire energy back and just fire in general. And Steam Artillery is 3 fire for 100 damage, which is really good value for a fire type, because there's no cost involved, there's no discarding stuff, so yeah. Hawlucha and Earth. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Mr. Camera. Oh, there's something shiny back here. Is this another full art? This could be another full art. Oh, Steelix! Yes, cool. Steelix is one of my favourites, so he's amongst there. Nidoking's still the top though. So Steelix EX full art, 180 HP, steel type. Wild Edge is his first attack, so steel and 3 colourless for 80 plus. You can do 50 more damage, but then this Pokemon takes 20 damage itself. And Iron Tail is a steel and 4 colourless for 100 times. Flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 100 damage times the number of heads. So first attack's fairly good. Being able to do the extra to make it 130 attack damage isn't too bad, and there are ways to mitigate the damage it deals to itself. However, Iron Tail, in theory, is amazing, and you could theoretically do a lot of damage with it, but we all know in reality you're going to flip that coin and get tails immediately. So yeah, but either way, I still love Steelix, so. And there's always ways to reflip if needed, if you're really that desperate. So yeah, Reverse Hollow, Reverse Claw, Weavile, Nidorino, Pokemon Ranger. Oh yeah, that one's quite cool. Weavile is 90 HP Darkness Stage 1, and its ability is what makes it cool, which is Tear Away. So as often as you like during your turn, you may put a Pokemon Tool card attached to one of your Pokemon into your hand. So you can move Pokemon tools around, which is useful, especially if you think say your active's about to be KO'd and you don't want to lose that Macho Brace and stuff like that. You can move things around with it. So, ooh, and I dropped it, sorry. So yeah, quite a nice one. Nidorino, Ranger, and Rapidash at the bottom there. That's 2 full arts and 2 breaks. This has been a very mixed bag here. Oh, sorry. Major Runner EX, sorry. That's 3 EXs, 2 of which have been full art, so I cannot be unhappy with this box anymore. Officially cannot be unhappy with it. Pawniard, Reverse Hollow Primeape, Bastiodon, Like I said, I'm bad with pronouncing Pokemon names, I'm sorry. Should watch the anime more, I know. Oh, sneaky, but I think we've just seen a nice full art in there. Not full art even, I'm getting so mixed up. Mega Steelix EX. Steelix EX. Sorry, my voice is going a bit. So, Mega Evolution for our full art Steelix, eh? Nice. So it's another one of these new dual types, 240 HP, it's steel and fighting, and it has Canyon Axe, so steel and 4 colorless for 160 damage, and it does 10 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Now it's 160 is a fair, a fair hit, and then also being able to place that 10 damage on each of your opponent's benched Pokemon, that's a good broad sweeping attack. I may be bigging it up slightly because he's one of my favourites, but I still think it's pretty good. So yeah, so you have Tangrowth there, and Ampharos. There's a roll Fletchling there. I might have to make a Steelix deck after this, with a Talonflame in it, of course. Because you can just go search out the. You can use the Talonflame to go search out what you need to set up the Mega Evolution. See, it's such a good card. Oh, sorry. Such a good card. Okay, 2 have lost the ability to actually open packs properly. It's been that long since I've done this. Fungus. Ah, Nidoking. It's a whole bunch of Lampent. So. Last pack. Let's see what we get. All I gotta do is open the pack properly. So, sneaky. Oh, that's a break. It's a fire break. It's a Talonflame. So, we're ending our box with a Talonflame break. 170 HP, fire, and it grants the attack Flare Blitz. Double fire for 150 damage, and discard all fire energy attached to this Pokemon. Not too bad a cost actually for 150 damage fire attack, and as we've seen there are ways to now get them back. So yeah, it's not, not terrible. It's a pretty good break actually, so cool. And then we have Steelix, Spirit Link. So we go, that was my last pack for the box, so let's just take a quick look at all the shiny stuff we got, because who doesn't like looking at the shiny cards? So we've had a Talonflame break, Yveltal break, Hydreigon break, and then we've had a normal Mega Steelix EX and a Magearna EX. We've also had a Steelix EX and a Volcanion EX full art. I'm very happy with this box. We've gotten some good stuff out of this one. That's really cool. So yeah. So there we go, that's everything from my Steam Siege box. I mean, the set's got some pretty cool new Pokemon, some interesting stuff, especially like the Klefki and the Chloritzer. So there's some interesting Pokemon in there to make some cool theme decks around. I mean, on the whole, there's some really good cards, and then unfortunately there's some really bad cards. The set doesn't seem to have too much of a middle ground on it, so it's one of those. There's a lot of divide on the set. Yeah, I mean, I can see whole new decks being able to be formed out of this. Mostly casual play, but there are some good sort of height here, competitive cards in there. And there's a lot of techie choices, like the Pokemon Ranger and stuff. So they're always adding variety to the game. Each set seems to add at least some new elements to it, and that makes me happy anyway. So, no, I definitely recommend Steam Siege. Cool set. So there we go. So I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. Remember, every card you've seen here today can be bought and sold on our website, bigorbitcards.co.uk. If you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to leave them below in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye.